This
cases.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Yesterday we have seen a sample Mule application, right? Did anybody try it on their own, and anybody has any doubts? Yeah, whenever you get some time, right, try to create an application and try to do whatever we are doing in the class, okay? Because having hands-on experience is very important, and when you do something, you will get some doubts. By listening, everything will look good and everything will look easy, but while doing some, we will get some doubts. So that have to be cleared, okay? So today we are going to do some use cases with the Oracle database. So let me just first explain about the use cases. Okay. So yesterday we have done something like this. So we have created an API and we have seen what are the flows, what are subflows, what are private flows, what are the differences between them, synchronous and asynchronous. So it doesn't give any payload, like we have simply tested simple payload and it is not taking any body, so any request body, right? So let's develop a use case today in such a way that our API will take a body from our request and it has to send the data to database. Okay, whatever we are giving the request in the API, it should take the data and we have to send that data to database. So let's first to understand, so what are the so basically whenever you are trying to do something, you have to understand the requirements very clearly. So let's first of all, let's say like let's document whatever we understood and whatever we have to do today. So let's say this is our first API, localhost API. So instead of this one, we'll say employee and add. Okay, this is my base API path and this is my sub API path. In this one, whenever we are saying request, right? So we can pass request in two ways. That is, we can send in body and also in header. So for now, in the first use case, let's say we are using in body of JSON type. Let's say this is my JSON example. ID equal to 100, name equal to ABC, and status. Let's say this is active. Okay. So whenever you are trying to build a JSON request body, keep in mind that it has to be valid. So this is how a JSON profile looks. This is a basic JSON profile. So it has only single record. So when I say record, it consists of a record. I mean, record of a particular employee. So this is the data of a particular single employee. So this entire thing is called as a record of one single employee. So you may get doubt like how to know whether our JSON is valid or not. So for that, in online we have many JSON formatters and all. So here I will give you this link. So you can go to JSON formatter and just check. So if at all I'm giving my whatever we are building our JSON profiles, right? We can just copy this one and check in your JSON formatter. It will say you can click on process here. It will say valid. So if at all I say like I won't give comma here, you are forgetting it and you are trying to give it in the postman. Postman itself will say that it is invalid, but you are not trying to understand. So you don't understand what is the problem. You just forgot the comma here. So simply you will think that it's a problem in MuleSoft integration, but the problem here is in JSON profile. So the request data. So simply you can say process. So it will say invalid. So it will say expected comma, colon, or string, something. So whatever the error, it will just display it here. So this kind of online tools, we have to make use of them. Okay, I am pinging this here. While developing our code, so while developing and deploying and testing in every step, right? So in some cases, there might be some errors in our MuleSoft integration, and there might be some errors with the data itself. So whenever, say, in your development, while you are developing, you are trying to test something and it is failing. So first thing what you have to check is you should not directly jump into your code. First you have to check whether the request data which you are passing is valid or not. If it is valid, then you have to go and check the integration and integration steps. Okay. So this is our now valid JSON profile. So this is our request. How our response should be? So response I have told, right? We have valid REST defined response codes like 200 series, like 200. We have 200 series for OK, like 200, 201, 200. I have given you the list of REST codes yesterday. So just follow that one, like 400 series, 500 series. We have many series like this. So you can simply follow this one of the standards which are given by, which are published by REST itself. So for now, what I will do is my response will look something like this. I will say response, or I will say code. For this should also be in double quotes. I will say status code 200, and I will say message. Okay, let's just check this one in our JSON formatter. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so this is how a body, like body with the JSON format. So try to remember this. When it is a standard coding standard, whether we are, if at all we are sending JSON in the request body, it should always return JSON only in the response. It is not that you are passing JSON in the body and you have to send XML in the response. It's not a coding standard. So we have to follow this structure. Okay. Let's say I have one more use case with the same thing. I will say just for our purpose, instead of add, I will say update. And what I'm here doing is, here also we'll have a request body. Instead of JSON, I will have XML here. So I think everyone is aware of XML structure. So let me just give you brief, if at all, just for benefit. So it will have a root element. Let's say here we have employee. This is the record of employee, right? Employee. And what we'll be having? ID. Say 100. And the closing tag of ID. Whatever we are giving an element in XML, it has to be closed. And then name. Say XYZ. Close it. And status. And you have to close this finally the employee tag, root tag. So for this checking also, you have an online tool where you can check online format as well. So you can simply paste this here and format XML. It will give formatted XML. So if whenever it is giving this in this format, it means it is format. Let's say I'm not giving this ID tag here. Format. Unable to parse. Line number 5. The element ID must be terminated by matching end tag ID. So it will be very helpful for us for validating what is our request format. Okay, I will just ping this in the chat box. Okay, for this one also, my response will be in XML structure. So we are passing XML as an input. So my response will also be in XML structure. So let's say my response contains result. Here I have status code 200 status code and message. This message. And we have to close the final root tag. result. That's all. Try to check the format here. It is valid. So like this. So this is our second one. First one is updating a database of an employee with help of JSON body. Updating the database with the help of XML type of request. And the third one is, I hope everyone remembers, we have discussed about URI parameters and query parameters. So here we will update using that. So we instead of request, so for request I have mentioned we can use body or headers. So in the first two use cases we have used body. Here we will use headers. So in place of headers, so here one more thing I forgot to tell. So this one is our method post. Our method post, because we are trying to send the data. If at all it is, let's say if you want to have already this employee exists and you want to update it, you can keep it up to batch or post. It's your wish. For just for our developing this use case, I'm just using post here. And here also you can use post here. And for headers, we can use query parameters. Can anyone say, or URI parameters first? Can anyone say how the URI parameters are to be given here? Whoever has present in that class, can anyone give an example? Because it is very important. So here URI parameters, you can say whatever we are giving here. So we are giving 100 name status. So that we have to give in the parameters. How it will look is 100. So for giving next parameter, you can give XYZ. And for status, you can say A. Okay. How to retrieve this one? How to retrieve this these headers in MuleSoft? I will explain. No need to worry there. Okay, so this is, so in this use case we will not have any request. I mean, we will not have any request body. We'll have only request in the headers. So for this also response you can send as of your wish. Like you can send this message itself. Okay. And fourth one, instead of URI parameters, I can send query parameters. So how the query parameters look? It will start with question mark and it will have a key value pair like ID equal to 100. And if you want to add one more request parameter, URI parameter here, you can say and you can add name equal to XYZ and status equals to A. So remember one thing, for URI parameters, there won't be any key value pair. You have to simply send in this way, slashes in the URL. But for coming to query parameters, the question mark is mandatory and after that key value pair is important. So you can simply remember like this. If at all the URL contains question mark and key value pair, it is query parameters. And if at all it contains simply like this without any key value pair, it has only slashes, then it is URI parameters. Okay, so here in this use case we have request. For headers, I'm having query parameters. And my response structure will look something like this. Okay, so these are the 4 use cases we can develop. So let's see how many we can develop today. Okay, and yeah, any doubts until here? So this is how the request will be. So you will have whenever the client gives a requirement, right? First you need to understand how many. So we are saying use cases here. So in that in a real time project, what you'll say is this is our requirements. This is our business flows. One business flow is adding an employee. The other business flow is updating an employee. So this is how your requirement document will look. It will say what you need to do, what is the operation you need to do, how the request will be, and how the response they want. So this is the expected request. This is the expected response. They will give this document to you. So based on this, you need to develop your MuleSoft code. Understanding the requirement is very important. Okay, so let's say if you want here, instead of post, you can say get as well. So based on this operation, you need to change your URI. In URI, you have this base API path and sub API path, right? So here the base API will be same, because for all the operations you are fetching employee type of data, but you can update this one. So for getting what you have, you can say fetch. Okay, something like this. This is just an example. So any doubts until here? Okay. So how to use? So how
No,
to? Yesterday I have shown you. Yes. I think somebody has any something.
I said no doubts. It is very clear.
Okay. Okay. Good. So how to use this one? So yesterday I have given you like how to create the payload and all, right? So when I say payload here, this is our payload. So how to the request, whatever we are getting the request, this is known as payload. So how to utilize this in MuleSoft? So let's say what is my syntax is, I can use this one. Yesterday I have shown, I think, hashtag payload. So when I say this one, I will get all of these fields. So how to get the ID from this payload? You have to simply say, sorry, you have to simply say payload dot ID. Similarly, if you want to get the name, payload dot name, payload dot status. Okay. And if at all this is in this is simply JSON structure. That's why you have simply like this payload dot this one. In case of XML, you will have in different way. You will have payload dot, to get the ID you have a root element here, so you have to do emp dot ID. That's all. Emp dot name, emp dot status. Okay, and to get this one, this is we can go in depth when we are developing this one. You will have something called as attributes. In yesterday's debugging mode, I have shown you, right? We can get all the values from for the listener. So here we have something called as attributes. So you can say attributes dot, this is URI parameter. So there no need to remember this syntax. There we can simply get it from our MuleSoft code itself. You can say dot t. Here we do not have how to get this one. We can go in depth in tomorrow's class. No need to worry about here. So simply here we do not have any key, but how to get this 100 I will show you. And for this one in for query parameters, you can say instead of URI here, let's say query parameters. And here you will get, instead of key, you will hit ID, because you have a key value pair here. Okay, so in this way you can use in MuleSoft how to retrieve the IDs and all. Okay, everyone is clear with the use cases we are going to develop?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so for this one, what is our requirement is we have to get this data from request and we have to keep it in database. So to keep it in database, you have to install an Oracle database and you have to install SQL developer. So for this I'll provide you links. I will give you these two links. You can go ahead and download Oracle DB and SQL developer. I think someone has already downloaded it and at your end, and whoever has not downloaded it, please download it and install it. This is very easy installation, nothing to worry here. So if you go to this link, you will have a Google Drive I have already kept here. Simply download that file. Download this file. A file will be extracted, something like this. It will be downloaded and you just need to install it. So while installing, please make sure you are giving the password correctly, because that password we have to use in SQL Developer. So this is an Oracle database where our data, our tables exist. To perform operations on this database, we need a tool which is SQL Developer. Okay, first you need to install Oracle database. Once you install everything, then go for SQL Developer. So from this link, right, you will have SQL Developer. So this will be installed, extract it, and you can see after extracting you will get a folder something like this, and simply click on this one. It will be installed. Okay, so when it installs, it looks something like this. So I have already created this one, so don't worry about it. I will show you how to create one more connection. So once you download, right, just it will be there won't be any SQL files here. Simply you can go and click on plus and try to give the name something like, suppose if I'm giving my entry data, so this is sample connection. Okay, here username, it will be always system. So while while installing Oracle database, it will pop up there. You can note it down. System.
Can you just increase the screen?
Increase.
Yeah,
Let me
you
see
can
how.
just little bit wide. Yeah.
Sure. Here. Can we increase here?
One input here, we can also have an option to increase our screen. Right hand corner, you can able to increase your screen. So if you done that, still if you are not able to see, check once. Who
Can you
asked
guide
this?
me how to increase this side?
Here I don't know, but we have your screen, right? We are able to increase our screen. That's what I'm
Okay.
telling. Rakesh or who asked? Rahul. You
Yes,
can
yes,
able to
Bhimeshwar.
see right
Thank you.
side.
I got it. Yes. In the end of the corner, I have got it. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kirti,
You're good.
here I have one doubt. So this
Okay.
is a trial version, or how we will? So is there any time period for this tool, or it is a free where we can install?
SQL Developer is a freeware, so I mean it's an open source. We can have it. But when you install Anypoint Studio, right, it will be having 30-day trial. So if at all it expires, I mean no need to panic. Just download one more time with another ID. It should be fine. So when you go to client project, right, so it won't matter for you, because they will have licensed version and all. For our development and for our understanding, this should be fine. Okay. Did I answer
So
your
this
question?
about this authentication. Yeah, thank you. So coming to the authentication, we can give directly Windows authentication, right? Without the username password, we can able to get into, right?
You're
Yeah.
saying like this one?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, because I'm giving this one because we need to use these credentials in our MuleSoft. That's why we need to set your username and password.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
So I will have a sample connection here. Generally for only SQL developer, right? So just for your creation and all, only for SQL developer, it should be good. You can go with OS. But we have to use this connection, like we have to use this SQL, what do you say, database connection. We have set this password. So for SQL developer, it's fine. You can simply go ahead and you can just test it. It will work. I'm just simply saying that, oh, invalid username and password. I don't know why, what happened here, because I have already set the password there. That's why I think maybe it is not allowing me. Please remember, we have to set a password, because that password we have to use in MuleSoft for configuring database. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. And for the host name, it will be as default localhost, and port 1521 for Oracle database, it will be default one. No need to change anything. And this can also be this default one. And just test it. Yeah, it is success. And try to save this connection and connect. So it will again ask you the password. So it will open the sample connection. So you can simply say, so here I have two connections. I have created one local connection for mine, and for demo purpose, I have created this sample connection. So once you open this sample connection, right, you can simply create a table. So I think everyone is aware of how to create the table and what are the elements we can pass. So simply like create a table employee. So we are doing with employee data, right? So I just kept employee, and I'm just giving employee ID, employee name, and employee status. So if you want, I can just give this in this chat box for your convenience. So create a table here. So you can simply say create and execute. So I have already created a table, that's why I'm not executing it. And to show something like if I'm doing select star from employee, it will not have anything, empty data. So for this table, we will insert data from our request body, whatever we are giving in the request, right? Here, these three fields will be coming into this table. Okay. So let's see how we have to develop this one. Let's create a Mule project. This is employee operations. Okay, I'll say finish. Some main flow is created. So we have to expose an API. We're exposing an API. That's why we have to use listener. I hope everyone is used to this one, since we are doing this from 2 to 3 classes. And listener we have to configure as usual. So here I'm saying localhost 8081. My base path is whatever we discussed. So here our base path we have discussed employee. So this is my base path, employee. Do a simple test connection. Successful. Okay. And in this path, subpath, I will say add. Okay. It is done. So just for our purpose, I will keep main flow triggered. Okay. After this one, we have to keep a database one. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to insert the data in this database. So drag and drop this insert here of database component. So here first we need to establish a connection between the database and MuleSoft. So how to do this one? Create a plus symbol here. Select, so what is the type of connection we are using? Oracle connection. In future, if at all you are using MySQL connections, something like this, there are different types of connections, you can create yours. And you will say here Oracle JDBC connection. We have to give a driver here. So how to give this one? Use local file. Since we have already installed our Oracle database here, so you can say I will ping this path for you wherever you have installed, right? It will be in this path. In C, suppose I have my Oracle in the root folder, C app Oracle product version server JDBC lib. So this is the path. It will be default to everyone, no need to worry about it. So in this library folder, select our jar file and open. Okay. So it is connected. We are giving our JDBC. And host, I have given localhost there. So I'm giving localhost user system. So this is what I was mentioning about. We have to give our password here. An instance, I have given XE their default. So I'm giving the XE here. Let's test the connection. This is one of the advantages in MuleSoft where we can test our connections before using it. So test connection successful. That means this connection can be established successfully without any problems. So whatever you do in future also, before just keeping okay and before just performing, try to test connection once, so that we will be sure that we are not of having any connection with the Oracle database connection or configuration. Okay. Okay. Now we have to write an insert statement here. So here insert into EMP. So here I have already written something like this. So here this is our table. So insert into EMP. This is my tables schema. So I have created something like this here. EMP ID, EMP name, EMP status. I hope everyone is aware how to insert the data into database. So this is general. This will until here. This will be our generic SQL statement. So from here, generally we will give values here like something like this. In SQL developer, we will give something like this, right? 100 name, something like this. But here, what we have to do this we have to get it from our payload. So how we have to do this one? So whatever, so this is called as named parameters. So what is named parameters is we have to give our payload in these parameters. So what it is best practice that you should give these parameter names in the same way, so that in future you will not get confused. Let's say here we have only 3 parameters. That's why we can say something like this: x and y and z. But in future, let's say your table has 200 columns and you want to insert 200 values. So you don't know what value you are sending for x, what value you are sending for y. So instead of that, simply give the parameter name as this one only. Okay, and we have to give what is the value to be sent to MPID. So for that one, you can simply say here input parameters, open brackets. So what you are trying to give for MPID first one. Here you will say MPID equals to payload dot id. So what we have here we have id. So next we have to send name. In a similar way, you will say what is this name, parameter name, emp name. Emp name equal to payload dot name. Then emp status equal to payload dot status. So these values, so whenever we are hitting our API, these values from the request, it will come here. The payload.id will come here. So in place of these 3 values, these 3 values will come and it will be inserted. Okay, that's all. So whenever you say I think I have mentioned, it is best practice to give the proper display name. Insert employee data. This is a coding standards. After this one, you want to know whether it has successfully done or not. So you will say a logger you will say employee data inserted successfully. Okay, after this one you want to send a response. Okay, so you want a response here. What is the response here which we discussed? You want this response. So simply you can say, you can drag and drop a transform message. So I have told you transform message is used for conversion of data, for sending the data, for manipulation of data, something like that. So here you want the type of the response to be in JSON. So output application / JSON, and you can simply keep these two. That's all. Click on save. Now I'll try to execute it. Run. In the meanwhile, let's build our Postman. We pick up our Postman. So in here, this will be our API and post. I think we have not configured any method. Let's see if it works. Raw and our type is JSON. So since we are passing the data, you have to give here. In earlier yesterday's class, we did not give any body here. So now we have to give the body here. We have given this one, yeah. Deployed. I don't think. Inserted successfully. So I have told you, right? Basically, if we don't give anything, it will work. But if at all, if I give in listener, if at all I give only get, then the post is not allowed. Since in the listener I did not configure anything, get or post. So since it has worked. Main flow triggered, employee data inserted successfully. And we got a response. Data score 200, message success. So let's see if the data is inserted or not. So earlier I have shown you there was no data here. So if I do a select star from now, I got here 100 ABC A. So our data is inserted. If I do one more time, it is again success. Since I do not have any primary keys here, it will again get inserted to here. Any doubts until here? Are we clear so far? Okay, I take that as yes. So let's see how we can do this one in an XML format. So I will stop here. Now let's give in the advanced allowed method, I will say only post now. Okay. So let me run this one. Let's see if I, instead of post, if I give get, it will be errored out. Yesterday I think I have shown you. Let's see again. It would be good if you do it on which class we are discussing, whatever we are discussing. Just if you get some time, because these are very in basic level, you can start doing it on your own. You will get some doubts. We can clear it on daily basis. So try to install all of these things and try to do some use cases in this way. Okay. So now let's say if I give post and I'm giving post, it will work. But if I give get here, it won't work. Method not allowed or not fair. Okay? And it is not triggered as well. It triggered for the first time, but not for the second time. Okay. Now let's see. We have to do this one for XML for the second use case. Here. So here I will modify my input parameter input body, saying that this is my so this is here. It says some error, something like this, because our body type is JSON. Change it to XML. Now this is good. So here what we have to do, we simply have to change it. Instead of payload.id, if you give payload.id, it won't work, because in payload, so let's see why it will not work. I will show you. Let's do this in a debug mode. Okay. Yesterday I have mentioned Mule debugger is very efficient and we can use it for Mule evaluator. We can use it for many things. So let's see how this is useful, how Mule debugger is useful for us. Yes. Deployed. I will trigger it. Okay, get won't work here. Post. This is triggered. See now what we have written in this insert statement. We have given payload.id. But if you don't know that if it works or not. So simply you can test it here in the expression evaluator. Try payload.id. So it says exception because there is no root element. So there is a root element in payload. So if you want to see here, payload here. So in this it says it has one root element, and in that root element you have ID. So simply what you can do is you can test it out here itself. You can say payload.emp. What will come if I do payload.emp evaluate .id. Evaluate expression. I think it should work. Or if you say payload.0.emp. Application.xml. Okay, here we have application.xml. So in this state, you can say you can do one thing, right? You can keep a transform message here. You can say this is my application /xml, and here I will give payload. So let's see if at all this works. Shutting down. Let's see. Okay, I think I have clicked run. It should be debugged. That is deployed. Let's see now what is our payload here. Payload. Copy expression. Simply saying this one. So if you want to extract, I don't know why it is not working. You can do in this way, like if at all if you get this error, simply you can say after this one you can just convert this one into JSON. I will explain you later why it is not working, but for today how to use this one we can do simply in this way. We can convert this XML into JSON and then we can use it. So now it is not coming, the XML is not coming as we have seen. What I'm trying to do is I'm converting this XML payload into JSON. Then debug, save. Yes. Let's see here. And now our payload contains JSON format. Payload. So if I do here payload dot emp, it has expression evaluation error. Let's say payload of 0 because it has single element. It's still paying this one. I don't know what is the error here. So I'll come back to you on this part on how to do the XML transformation and why it is not working. So as of now, any doubts until except this one?
No.
No, Kirti.
Okay. Yeah, for the until now, I think we are good here. So from tomorrow, tomorrow I will explain what is the problem I have faced here, and I will let you know. Okay.
Yeah, Kirti. Yes, this is fine for us for today because it has more content today. So we need to practice. Otherwise, we'll lose our this thing.
Yeah, yeah. And for benefit of everyone, I have gathered all the links which I've been using from the beginning. Anypoint Platform, Anypoint Studio download, Postman, sample list APIs, SOAP APIs, downloading of Oracle DB, JSON format, etc. So all these links I will be daily on daily basis. If at all I use any links, I'll be sharing it with you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, please.
So yeah. So this, we can wrap it up today. If at all if we don't have any doubts until for this one.
Okay, Kirti.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.